This is Cliff Height with Isokern. I'm the regional sales manager, and I want to thank Canadian Stone for gathering us all here on this platform to just go over the Isokern products and product line and cover anything else that we need to cover here today. So let me minimize this. So I just want to talk about a quick history of Isokern, what it is, where did it come from. And so Isokern, it actually started back in the 1920s in Denmark. So the people in Denmark, somehow they found pumice in Iceland, and they wanted to find an efficient way to exhaust flue gases for hot water heaters and household appliances. So over the years, they started using material for different things. And decades later, they started making fireplaces. Fast forward to the 1980s, our owner, Carl Spadaro, started Earthcore Industries, and he started importing the material in the fireplaces from Denmark. And that went really well, and he developed a number of stores throughout the southern US, about a dozen stores. And in 2008, fast forward another couple decades, it made sense for him to build a factory. So we now manufacture the Isokern product line in Chesapeake, Virginia since 2008. And we barge in volcanic pumice from Iceland. So the point of all that is the product's tried and tested, and there's millions of meters of Isokern flue all over Europe and now all over the US and Canada as well, North America. Okay, so it's my pure Icelandic pumice slide. So Earthcore, we have the rights to mine the material from the volcano, which is actually the Hekla volcano in Iceland, Mount Hekla volcano. And so we barge in about 2 or 3 barges a year, produce the material, and create our fireplaces for distribution. So some of the things that's interesting about volcanic pumice is it comes from fire, it's made for fire, it's super lightweight, it refracts heat tremendously, it doesn't expand or contract. So it heats up really well. And the great thing about a masonry fireplace is when you have all that mass and you're built and you have a fire, as that fire starts to weaken or get lazy, you still have all that heat in the fireplace, which all that stuff helps with the draft in the fireplace throughout the cycle of the fire. Another interesting thing about the volcanic pumice, and the reason it's important that it comes from Iceland, there's volcanic pumice all over the planet. However, the pumice in Iceland, it's above the frost line, nothing grows up above it, so there's no impurities in it. So it doesn't have to go through an extensive processing to get all the impurities out of it. We simply harvest it, bring it in, and produce the fireplaces in our state-of-the-art factory in Chesapeake, Virginia. So the factory is really, it's our best sales tool. It's no human hands touch the material until it comes off the line, and we're actually palletizing fireplaces. Excuse me while I try to. So here's a video. This is shot. I have an issue, but I'm going to do a voiceover because I don't think Okay, so, and excuse me because this is a new PowerPoint deck that I'm working through here. So as I mentioned, it's a natural insulator, super lightweight, and super durable. I'm going to give this video a shot. This is our head of engineering, Thackeray, doing a temperature test. So it's a 30-second video, and I'm going to do a voiceover as we go through this. No, it might not work. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to the next slide. There we go. So we're going to go through our series here. In each series, there's a number of different model sizes. So it all started with the standard. And as you can see in the standard, there are 3 courses of sidewalls and back walls. There's a base plate on the bottom, and there's a smoke dome on top. The standard, it's available in model sizes 36, 42, and 46. It's available for indoor use, outdoor use. You can burn wood in it. You can use it for natural gas or liquid propane. You can customize the finish. You can use these for any fire brick, any color, and pattern. So these are real traditional masonry fireplaces. You know, some of the features and benefits of all our fireplace lines is the speed of construction. So they're like Lego pieces that come palletized to a job site. They're modular construction. They're lightweight. You don't need a big crew to put these together. You don't need a skilled mason that's been building fireplaces generationally. Anyone that can mix mortar can put together Lego pieces, can construct the firebox of an Isokern standard. Some of the other features and benefits are the flexibility of design, placement, and venting options, which we'll get to further in the PowerPoint here. And all these, of course, they produce the look of a real traditional masonry fireplace because they are a real masonry fireplace. And they're all UL listed. So you have a UL listing, which is Underwriter's Laboratory for a safe fireplace, where they all have a manual and all the thinking's been done to create safe fire inside the home. And also they can all, same fireplace, they can all be used in the outdoor environment as well. The next in our series is our MAGNUM series. So the difference between the MAGNUM and the standard series, so the MAGNUM series has a couple varieties, if you will. So we have single flue drafting MAGNUM series in the sizes 36, 42, and also a 48, all single flue. All these fireplaces have 4 courses, and they're a little deeper. They're almost about 3 inches deeper than the standard, and they're about 6 inches taller. So the openings on the MAGNUM series, a finished opening is about 36 inches. Opening on the standard series is about 30 inches, vertical opening. And these all have the same features as far as for indoor use, outdoor use, wood, you can burn gas logs in them. And these also have multi-sided availability and customization. You're able to customize these into see-throughs, but those are customizable. Anything custom does not necessarily carry a UL listing. So we can get into that a little bit later. And these MAGNUM and standard series, you can either use our DM54 chimney system or EcoSteel metal venting system. Additionally, we can use our FIRE-LITE application with these. And we'll talk more about that later in the presentation here. So right now we're really going through the wood burning series. And in any wood burning series, in our standard and MAGNUM and our MAGNUM Plus series, you can burn any gas log set in those because of their rating. Next in the line is our MAGNUM Plus series. So these are our newest line to the MAGNUM series. There's also a gap in the middle between the MAGNUM and the MAGNUM Plus. We have our MAGNUM 60 and 72 model. So they're 5 foot and 6 foot wide. And those also carry the same openings as the MAGNUM series. Both the 60 and 72 require 2 flues for wood burning. Now, when we jump into the MAGNUM Plus, we have 4 stock options in the MAGNUM Plus series. And these are our largest wood burning UL listed fireplaces, which came out about within the past 2 years. Now you'll notice these have a double smoke dome on them, where the standard and MAGNUMs have a single smoke dome. So they're a lot taller. The MAGNUM Plus also has 5 courses. So you're going to get a finished opening from FIREBRICK to top of lintel. There's a steel lintel that would cross this span, which is not shown in the picture. Actually, you can see it in the fireplace. That's actually our factory, our production facility where we test fireplaces. And that is a picture of a Magnum Plus being tested, which is a great big fire in that fireplace. And you can see a steel lintel going across there. So from FIREBRICK to steel lintel, that is 44-inch vertical opening for a stock UL listed huge wood burning fireplace. So we have 4 models in this series. You have your 84, which would require 3 flues. Now on this Magnum Plus series, these are only going to use our metal venting, which is our eco steel venting, which you can see on that picture on the right. And then as we jump into our 96 model, our 108 and our 120, 8, 9 foot, and 10 foot respectively, those all do require 4 flues for natural gravity draft. We can always talk about reducing the flue options, but then you're looking into mechanical draft solutions in those scenarios. So a lot of options for wood burners, which can all be used indoors or outdoors and also can burn any gas log system. Okay, next I want to talk about our DM54 system. So the DM54 system is our same components as far as the volcanic pumice. It's made at our factory, and it's a dual modular chimney system. It's our best performing chimney system, and there's some really unique advantages for this chimney system. So it's made of the same volcanic pumice. It's a refractory liner. It has an outer casing, which you can see in those pictures on the left. So that outer casing, they're all 12 inches tall, and they're 21.5 inches square around. And then you have that octagon shape in the middle, which the liner drops into. So the liners are also 12 inches tall. However, the very first liner that would go on top of the firebox, we call it a starter flue. And that starter flue is 6 inches tall. The purpose of that is to stagger the seams between your outer casing and your inner liner all the way up through your flue run. Provides additional lateral stability as you're building your fireplace. And another interesting thing about Isokern and the way that it's made in our state-of-the-art facility is everything is really tight tolerances. Speed of construction is a big deal. And when I say speed of construction, for, let's say, for example, our standard series and our MAGNUM series single flue models, and even our 60 and 72s, and probably even the bigger ones, you can build those easily within a day, and you can build the same flue system, whether it's a masonry flue system or a metal flue system, that same day, come back and build and line it with your FIREBRICK the next day. Now, I think of FIREBRICK like tile work. So if you've ever worked with tiles, you need to make some cuts and get them installed in there properly. So what else about the DM54? So the DM54 is the only zero clearance masonry chimney system on the market. So you could, if you wanted to, you can stone right up to it, or if you want to frame wood right up to it, you can do that as well. So super flexible, a lot of advantages, and that gap between that outer casing and that inner wall provides a great insulation barrier. So flue gases will heat up super fast and produce a great draft for your fireplace. Now, another thing that we don't put in writing anywhere, and I've had people tell me over the years, is, and you should always get your chimney inspected every year. But what I'm hearing is that I've never heard anyone tell me that their chimney needs cleaning. So I thought that's interesting. I'm waiting for someone to tell me that they do have to clean their chimney. I just haven't heard it yet. So DM54, so these, also the weight on these is about 45 to 50 pounds per component. So figure about 100 pounds per foot. So you do need a proper support under the fireplace, just like a traditional masonry build. You need a full pad or some kind of steel reinforced system, engineered system, to make sure you're going to carry that weight all the way up the flue run there. And there's some of it, in keeping with the theme with traditional masonry, there's some unique features that these have. So if you look on that picture on the left-hand side, and we start at the bottom, you can see the outer casing inner liner. And as we go up kind of in the middle of the picture, you'll see a flat square. So that flat square is what we call a brick ledge. And it's a functional piece. It's designed just to sit below the roof line. And that brick ledge will hold up to 9,400 pounds. And it'll carry either full brick or full bed masonry below the roof line up to the top of termination. Additionally, you'll see the holes on the outer casing. Those are designed for number 4 rebar, and that's the only time you would use those holes is when you're using a brick ledge for that additional weight. That's all described in the manual, and it's if you're going to use that application, you would just need to follow the manual to make sure you complete that properly. And at the top of the run, there's what we call a crown cap. So the crown cap is just a nice, easy way to finish this off. Creates that traditional wash to shed the water away from the flue system. And then lastly, in the center of our slide here, we have ISO caps. So the ISO caps are designed specifically for the DM flue. The one on the left, the copper one, and the one on the right, the stainless steel, would simply slide in to the inner liner, and you hit it with a bead of caulk, and you're done. The black galvanized one in the middle simply slides over, has 3 screws that you tack on, and also then you're done. So simple, easy, efficient ways to finish those off. You can also put clay caps on top of this if it's a full masonry chimney. So just a lot of great uses for the DM54. Another option, so a lot of flexibility with Isokern. So if you don't want to use a masonry chimney system, you don't have to. So we also have EcoSteel. Now in Canada, we're specifically going to talk about our EcoSteel Plus. And our EcoSteel Plus is the better of the 2 options. It's a stainless steel outer casing with a stainless steel inner liner, outer liner, inner liner. It's both stainless steel. And they have a packed ceramic insulated fiberglass blanket in there, so it's a packed pipe. It's a better performing pipe of the 2. So EcoSteel, super lightweight, super efficient. You can see that of those images in the middle. The first one there is an anchor plate, and I actually see it off the top of the fireplace too. So an anchor plate or transition plate simply tap cons to the top of the fireplace or smoke dome and allows you to transition from masonry to metal. Whenever you choose a flue system, whether it's DM54 or EcoSteel, you need to use that system from the top plate all the way to the top of termination. And these are both UL listed system venting designed to be used with Isokern. So these are compatible with our standard series, our MAGNUM series, and would need to be used for our MAGNUM Plus. So EcoSteel is always the right answer when you're using a FIRE-LITE application. So let's see. And also it can be a good idea if you have to do any offsets or unique venting runs. It might be an easier way to accomplish that by using EcoSteel. So if we continue on, you said, I did mention a FIRE-LITE application, so that's a really unique feature of Isokern. Bear with me as we get to this next slide. Okay, so the FIRE-LITE application is a really cool feature for Isokern. It allows you to put, so first let's talk about what it is. If you look on the picture on the right, you can see that we have a combustible floor system. So Isokern, remember, it's super lightweight. It allows us to build over a combustible floor system. So you have typical framing, typical subfloor, and then just above that, you'll see what we call iso wool. So that iso wool is a blanket that ships with that FIRE-LITE stand. The FIRE-LITE stand also has a spark guard that's attached to it. Probably hard to see in the picture, but it's there. So that system, and that stand is 4 inches tall, and that system allows you to build that Isokern directly above that system. And whenever you have metal down, that FIRE-LITE system below the fireplace, you must use metal up, or metal above the fire system, because of the weight. So that stand is, you would never put DM54 above that stand because the weight's not engineered to hold that, nor is the weight of your floor system designed to hold the chimney system of DM54. But the EcoSteel chimney is lightweight and negligible in relation to building. So another thing that's interesting about the FIRE-LITE application, that FIRE-LITE stand on our single flue model. So you can use this on all of our standard series, the 36, 42, and 46, and the MAGNUM series, 36, 42, and 48. That's the way that system would look, single flue FIRE-LITE system. You can also achieve a flush hearth with that system if you desired. So the way to achieve that is you would reduce the framing below the fireplace and also the proper clearances for the fireplace. So, and we need to remember that if anyone's out there listening, that UL listing and masonry code are apples and oranges. So our clearances are going to be different than masonry code. So our clearances for these models that we're talking about would be 1.5 inches to the sides and back of the fireplace to framing. And so you'd need to maintain the same clearances when you drop that FIRE-LITE stand down into the framing. You're also going to have the clearances out front for your hearth conditions, which on these fireboxes, we're talking about 20 inches out in front and 12 inches to either side. So all that framing area would be reduced and you can achieve a flush hearth. Now, typically you're going to end up with a 4-inch stand, that 3-inch base plate material, and about 1.25 inches to 1 inch of fire brick. So you're looking at about 8.5 inches, accommodating for that blanket and some mortar in there. So FIREBRICK. So all of our fireplaces get lined with FIREBRICK. So what's great about that is you can customize any of our fireplaces with any color and any pattern. So typically FIREBRICK is available in these common sizes here on the left. So a full FIREBRICK, and that dimension on the right is the thickness. So we have a face of 9 by 4.5 with a thickness of 2.5. A split is the same face, just half the thickness of 1.25 inches. And a soap is the same thickness as a split, but half the face of a split or a full with a 9 by 2 face. So those soaps, very popular for a herringbone style, but you can also use a split or full for herringbone style as well. Now, the red and cream are available in all those sizes. The black and gray are available in the fulls and splits. If you wanted to have soaps, you would simply cut those in half. Soapstone is a fantastic option. It's a high-end option, and it's a natural product, and you certainly can use that as FIREBRICK. And recently, I've seen some projects, higher-end projects in commercial applications, where they've actually used a slab of soapstone. So I thought that was really interesting too, as long as it's a proper thickness. And one of the things I didn't talk about with the fireplaces is how they're constructed. So they all get constructed using Earthcore's MP50 mortar, which is a Earthcore adhesive mortar. Technically, it's a thin set. So what a great thing about having a thin set and having components that are Legos that are all tongue and groove and designed to interlock and fit with each other is, as you use a grout bag to put those together, you can continue that build all in the same day. Now, the proper mortar to use for FIREBRICK for Isokern is IsoSet brick mortar, which is a FIREBRICK refractory mortar. You'd only want to use this with FIREBRICK. It's to stick your mortar to different consistency. It's a non-soluble mortar, and it has the right properties to be used inside the fire box with the FIREBRICK and right up against the fire there. And one bucket will lay enough brick for up to a MAGNUM 48. So that really takes care of it for our wood burning series. And remember, in our wood burning series, you can use any gas log system you prefer. And we have a couple series that are just gas only applications. So, and these look like real traditional masonry fireplaces because you're using real fire brick, and it gives you that desired look that a lot of people are looking for when they think about a fireplace. So the vent-free, actually, I'm just remembering in Canada, we can't use vent-free indoors, so I'm going to continue with this. You can use it outdoors in Canada, so we'll just leave it at that. So our next gas series is our BVETTO. So the BVETTO is, you'll notice, has a double smoke dome. It's unique in that it's gas only. It can be built right over combustible floor system. You don't need the FIRE-LITE stand. That base plate can go right on the floor. And it also uses what we call a B-vent chimney system. So the B-vent chimney system is going to have a smaller diameter. It's 10-inch B-vent, which has an 11-inch diameter. So what else do I want to talk about with the BVETTO? So the BVETTO also, it's a system. So the BVETTO system, the stock option would have 3 courses, and these are the same sizes as our standard 36 and our standard 46. So typically the stock option is going to have 3 courses. However, you can add height adjustments for a 4th and 5th course and still maintain the UL listing, as these are gas only systems. Now you would also, since it is a system, you would use our burner and choice of 3 logs, which look great. They burn fantastic. And they also have a safety feature built in that works directly with the log set and the burner. So you can see in that picture in the middle, there's a piece of metal across the top of the damper. So that metal is part of our, it's part of the system. So it has a damper handle in there. The damper needs to be in the open position for your logs to turn on. And also there's a high temperature snap disc in the lintel. If the logs were ever to get too hot or something happened that was unusual, the disc would snap and the logs would shut off. So just some good features to keep that traditional masonry look and also keep you safe. And recently, actually, we have a deal in Canada, which I got to learn something. So it's going in a bedroom. So we got to dive into some of the code in Canada, and I learned that we didn't have the right phrasing on every fireplace has a serial number and has a rating plate up in the sidewall. So our rating plate doesn't have the right language, and because of the situation we came across, we're in the process of getting that fixed. So these are available for bedrooms in Canada, and we're working on getting the rating plate adjusted. So another one in our gas series here is our Maximus Traditional. So the Maximus Traditional came out a couple of years ago. So it's a direct vent chimney system. So it's natural gravity draft with one chimney system that actually it'll bring in. So this has a sealed glass front. So the logs, you need to choose the burner logs that we have available for the system. You can customize the brick any color, any pattern. It would have a ceramic glass front covered over this, and it's covered in red because it's called a max seal coat. And that seal coat fully seals in the kernels of the volcanic material, so air is not coming in and out of that material, which is specific for this sealed glass front style. What else do I want to say about the Maximus traditional? 2 sizes, which is the same as our standard 46 and our Magnum 48. So we went with our biggest single flue options for this type of application. Can be built right over a combustible floor. They look great, and it's a simple solution. And that direct vent technology keeps the conditioned air of your home and the fireplace performance completely separate. This is our newest series in the gas burning line. So we introduced this just this January in Las Vegas at the International Builder Show. And so this is our Maximus linear series, which we're really pretty excited about. It's available in 4 stock openings of a 4-foot, 6-foot, 8-foot, and 10-foot wide options. The vertical viewing area is almost 18 inches tall. It's like 17 and almost 18. And what's also really unique is this is the first time we're producing our own burner. In keeping with the theme of modular construction, the burner is also modular. It comes in 12-inch and 18-inch quick connect sections. So we can use the same components to create a big wide burner for our 10-foot version. And the flames look great. The burner's easy to put together. And the other really cool thing is the burner sits in the depth of a full fire brick. So the ease of putting this together and not having to figure out, the other thing that's really interesting is this type of fireplace and these type of burners typically need a lot of outside combustion air. We figured out a way in this system to minimize that combustion air to get it to perform properly. So this comes available in 2 options. And we're showing those options in the picture here. So the top option is open hearth, no glass in front. And that can be right on a combustible floor surface. And that would require 2 air kits in the sidewalls that you would see. The bottom option is a glass, which is hard, you won't be able to see it in the picture, but there's a glass front on that. And below it, that dark section above the base plate, is a collector box, which the air kits would come into there. These are also, what's interesting about these is they're vented with single flue, 12-inch B vent, and they do require mechanical exhaust on the top. They don't require any type of heat exchange above the fireplace. And other competitor fireplaces, they have what's called a heat exchange that the metal boxes they make have to have the heat escape back into the room. The nature of the volcanic pumice keeps this simple, and it's just a really simple, efficient application to achieve a great look. Typically finished off with a glass media over that burner, and optional logs can be in there as well. So these are also 0 clearance. So 0 clearance all around that flame on the wall system. So up above the top and to the left and right, completely 0 clearance system. So it's a really slick system. I'm probably not saying enough about it, but it is sold as a system with the firebox, the burner, glass media, the fan that's required to mechanically vent this, which the venting can be vented vertically and horizontally. So now I just want to talk a little bit about, let's see, we've got a couple slides left here. Custom designs. So if you can dream it, we can build it. And the bottom left is one of the longest linear burners we've built to date. That was a custom application in Texas. I believe it's about 38 feet long. I think it's a wedding type of event center. And so that's one option, one example of something we could do. And in the top right, you'll see a peninsula style. And this particular peninsula has 2 steel support bars on the end. But I've seen these peninsula styles where you have a floating smoke dome, and there's a whole system behind all that great veneer and cladding to achieve that. So whether it's peninsula-based styles floating smoke domes, longer linears, see-throughs. We really have a great system and a great team at the factory, which ultimately you'd work through your Canadian stone rep who would work with me to get the design all together. And once it's something that you're looking to achieve, you would sign off on it, order it, and we would build it. So let's see. I want to talk a little bit about the outdoor market. So the outdoor market is a segment that's continually growing. I think with a lot of people at home these days, they've probably looked to their backyard, and I'm sure there's a lot of backyard projects happening all over North America right now. So again, with our fireplaces, any fireplace of our wood burning series, our standard MAGNUM, even those big MAGNUM Plus models, can all be used outside. Whether it's wood burning or you get an outdoor gas burning system for them. Additionally, we have some other outdoor components. So we have what we call our ISO panels. So the ISO panels, super easy, efficient way to build an outdoor kitchen. The dimensions of these panels are 3 inches thick, 24 inches deep, 34 inches tall. So they're at the right height to receive a countertop. They super easy to cut, customize, and whether you want to put a grill in or doors or refrigerator, you can stone right on them, and they're going to last forever. So if I didn't say, I don't think I said it already, anything that comes from our factory for Isokern plant material and the DM54 system, that's all lifetime warranty for the life of the home. So this stuff is going to last forever. Let's jump to the next one. So here's another interesting product that we have available for the outdoor segment, which is our ISO oven. So this ISO oven, it's a simple construction. It comes as a true kit. We're showing just a tabletop here in that floating image there. But it's simply, FIREBRICK comes with it. There's some inner panels that come with it and some ISO wool and the whole construction and kit and some high temperature adhesive. And once you have that all built and set up the way you want, you start a fire in there, and in 15 or 20 minutes, you push that fire to one side, and you can get 2 12-inch personal pizzas in there, and they'll cook up real fast and be great. So a good, fun backyard use of a pizza oven. So I think that is it for going through the product line and talking about some of the features and benefits of Isokern and some of the advantages here.